Alright, I think, yeah, there we go. Which is a little bit slow to load on my side, but let's go. Alrighty. We left the very nice and pleasant and amazing talk with Gonzo. Hey Bea, hi. And let's see. I checked my call history after leaving the house. Apparently it was Ichi. I'm here, okay. I'm very tired today. I have very low energy, so I'm doing my best. Yeah, it's more comfortable for me to just stream in the dark, so sorry. Tonight no cam, but I'm here. I'm here. Should be fine, right? Yeah, everything's fine. Okay. Usami is probably with him. Going to get some ramen with them would be a complete waste of time, but I was just subjected to Gonzo's lecturing. Maybe I should call Eichi back. You'll get a double dose of me on Saturday, if that helps. We're gonna play Honkai. It's gonna be great. No, wait. The true identity of Maou has nothing to do with me. I'm not about to expose myself to spending time with that irritating Usami just for a tip or two. Maybe I should blow them off and head to Tsubaki's house for a check-in. Thank you for the pats. I appreciate it. I need to keep an eye on them. It would be bad news if they get desperate and call the police. What should I do? This might seem like a trifling matter, but this decision will greatly affect the actions I take from here on out. Oh, it's a decision moment. Get involved with Tsubaki and her family, investigate Usami, and chase Maou. Oh, interesting. Interesting. And the choice is to get involved with Tsubaki and her family, even though we're trying to do Haru's route, which is This is the branch. Hey, Rancho. Okay. Let me make a save here. I don't know. I am just following the guide. The guide says, get involved with Tsubaki and her family. Here, I'll link it to you. I'm tired, but I think I'm reading it right. Okay. So yeah, get involved with Tsubaki and her family. Let's get involved. Well, in any case, I shouldn't bother her this late. Maybe I should just leave it for tomorrow. I'll meet up with Eichi tonight. Dude, what the fuck? It's like, you're making such a big deal out of it, deciding whether to go, spend time with Usami and Eichi, or head off to Tsubaki's house. Like, this is like the big decision that will greatly affect the actions I take. And then I make the decision, and then he walks it back. Like, what? What do you want? The notebook meme. What do you want? He forgot the decision. Oh, God. I wouldn't want to bother Tsubaki too much. So the decision is we get involved with Tsubaki and her family. And then the immediate reaction to the decision is, I wouldn't want to bother her too much though. Let's not do it now. Okay. It's alright. I'm just poking fun. It's fine. Ichi and Sami were waiting for me in front of the ramen place. Are you pinched for money? She probably is. That's probably a factor. Okay. You have money though, right? At least enough to treat Eichi. Usami raised her chin proudly. Aww. She's so proud. She sounds so proud. Tsubaki and her family look different than I remember. Yeah, right? Yeah, she's so cute. I'll pass. I don't want to owe someone something just for some silly ramen. Actually, now that I think about it, since when do you eat things besides junk food, Eichi?
興味のない女と一緒なら食うんだよ。食わなきゃ死ぬだろうが。
Does that mean you're interested in her?
じゃあお店に入ろっか。いっぱい食べちゃうぞ。
Hey, Matsu-chan. Hey, hi.
H さん、大盛りとかはなしの方向で。できればトッピングとかもなしの方向で。
ちょっと
すみません、お金下ろしてくるの忘れてました。財布の中に1000円しかないんです。
Oh yeah, it's the cash only society, yeah.
せっかくの僕の誕生日なのに。
Oh, he's still going with the birthday thing.
わかりました。自分は食べないので、代わりに何でも食べてください。
そう
Yeah, I use it rarely as well. But, yeah.
なんだよこれ薄気味悪いぜ。こいつ実はちょっといいやつだったりするわけ。
I also do not have an ATM that's nearby where I live. I'd have to go out of my way to withdraw. I do it whenever I'm in the vicinity of one, just to have a bit of cash when, like, you know, for instance, when you take a taxi, then usually I've seen some now that are equipped with what you need to pay by card, but most of them only take cash. So for that situation, I carry some cash around, but otherwise, yeah, don't use it much either.
どうぞ。
Usami handed Eichi the 1,000 yen bill. Yeah, feel bad, please. Like, if you don't feel bad right now, like, you're not a human. Huh? There was something unusual about Eichi's hesitation. Could even this kid be affected by a guilty conscience?
ありがたく食べさせてもらうね。
No. Nope. I suppose that was asking for the impossible.
俺ぐらいの鬼畜者になるとよ、女を騙して金をせびることくらい朝飯前なわけよ。
Oh, God. I don't know. I feel something unpleasant in the pit of my stomach. Like, she's giving up having dinner just so she can treat you for a fake birthday. Like, and this is your reaction. Jesus Christ. I have no intention of helping Usami, but expose Eichi's lies. Let it be. Oh yes, we expose the shit out of that. Yes. Thank you. What's the most likable male character so far? Tsubaki's dad. Otherwise, I'm sorry, we don't we don't have much choice. But this time H is really overdoing it. If I do her a favor, Usami might open up to me. In a way that's also unappealing, but Eichi, your birthday is not until June, okay? Tsubaki said it was in her diary, and I remember it too. You were kicking up a fuss that day the same way you did today. In any case, your birthday is nowhere near today.
本当なんですか、H さん。
Come to think of it, I treated you to a huge parfait in a family restaurant last time.
どこにそんな証拠が？
Eichi's role in the novel is to make Maou look good. To be fair, that's true. Even Maou isn't this freaking petty. He's criminal, but he's not petty. I could get you the receipt if I go home now.
そんなのあるの？
Sure, I would. It would just take a second to find it. I also hoard all of my receipts and I organize them in envelopes by month. Yes.
アジャイさんってレシートとか捨てきれないキャラなんですか？どうですかあなたは。
Usami mumbled. Better luck next time you're trying to scam for a meal, Eiichi.
栄一さん、誕生日じゃないんですね。
誕生日だよ。僕って年に2回誕生するんだよ。
Why would you have to?
そうきましたか。
She's impressed. And just what the hell is not bad about it? I don't have time to fool around with these jokers. Let's just eat quickly and leave. I'm very busy. The master of deception, yeah. I exited the restaurant after the late night dinner was finished. Well, I'll see you at school. I was stopped as I turned to leave.
ちょっと待ってください、アザイさん。
What for?
今日、アザイさんに集まってもらったのは他でもない。
いや、僕もいるけど。
Fuck off. Usami adjusted her hair and said,
ちょっと聞きたいことがあるんです。
About yesterday? Where did the ransom go? It must have bothered her all night.
はい。すなわち、ケースの中の株券はいつどこでどうやって消えたのか。
Lord, if I know. The details Tsubaki had told me about resurfaced in my mind. It happened at 9:30 last night, right? Central Boulevard was all messed up because of Kanon's show.
はい。その時、ハンバーガーショップの前に置かれたケースが魔王に持ち去られました。
Did Tsubaki put it there?
はい。
But you'd already switched out the briefcase with one you prepared, right?
はい。ですから、私がすり替えるより前の段階で、すでに株券はケースの中から消失していたということになります。
I see. How did the kidnapper get the ransom? This has nothing to do with me, but it sparks my curiosity.
ちょっと僕、話についていけないんだけど。
When you're not involved, just scoot along. Bye-bye. The 50 share certificates were all placed in an envelope, correct?
はい。
You're positive Tsubaki placed the shares in the briefcase in the first place?
その瞬間をこの目で確かに見ました。椿はデパートでケースを買って、その場で株券の入った封筒をケースの中にしまいました。
Did Tsubaki ever check the contents of the briefcase afterward? I think not. She just ran around.
していないそうです。今日の昼に聞いたんですが、株券をしまってから椿は一度もケースを開けていないそうです。
So Tsubaki just assumed that the shares were still inside the briefcase while she was running around the city.
私もですが。
She scratched her head and smiled ironically.
ねえ、僕も仲間に入れてよ。
No. Rejected. So what do you want to ask? Usami frowned when she heard my prompt.
ズバリ聞きますよ、アザイさん。
She took a step forward.
昨日、ケースは2度、駅構内のコインロッカーに預けられました。
Right.
1度目は昼、椿が電車に乗って桜扇町に向かった時、2度目は夜、椿が東区の公園に向かった時です。
And?
問題となる駅のロッカーですが、1度目は私が見張っていました。不審者が近づいた様子はありませんでした。2度目はどうでしたか？
So that's what she wanted to say. Usami had asked me to stay by the lockers yesterday. I didn't spot anyone strange near it.
細身で背が高く、黒いコートを着た男を見ませんでしたか？
I mean, not unless he saw his own reflection in something. This is our streamer's theory. Yeah, well, I don't know. I don't know if I can even call it my theory. It was just like what I thought about. What I had gathered by the point that you asked me. I have no idea if that's it. Maybe it's not. Maybe it's maybe I don't know. Maou had it planned from the beginning or something. And the whole thing with him actually getting the case was just a game to kind of push Usami's buttons or something. I don't know. That can also be something, but I don't have a concrete idea of exactly what the steps would have been there. Is that the kidnapper?
はい、魔王です。
Because, you know, there are plenty of tall, thin guys with black coats around here. About how old is he? Usami replied with confusion.
謎です。青年だと思います。
Early 20s, older.
謎です。後ろ姿だけしか見てませんから。ただ、最近の若い男性はみんな背が高くて細くて、何歳なのかわからないですしね。
Apparently, Usami doesn't have anything conclusive on Maou. Alright, I get it. The point is, I didn't see a man like that while I was guarding it.
変装してたんじゃない？
Ichi popped out.
いや、よくわかんないけど、混ぜて欲しかっただけ。
No one approached the locker in any case.
確かですか？
I felt a piercing gaze against which even my deepest secrets have no protection. Absolutely. Well, I was a bit tired at the time, so I might have been a little out of... I see. So his memory not 100% reliable.
それだ！京介くんが犯人を見逃したんだ！
I apologize if that turns out to be the case.
いえいえ。自分も犯人を捕まえられなかったわけですから。
Still, hadn't Tsubaki already locked the locker?
はい。椿はその鍵を持って市内を走り回り、東区の公園に現れました。
Yeah, but that doesn't mean that there was only one key to the locker. Well then, this is a non-issue. Nobody could have opened the locker and stolen the ransom without the key.
おっしゃる通りです。
Maybe the policeman switched the case. There was like that moment with the... This was also something I was thinking. Also actually in the moment, like, are they actually policemen or was it something orchestrated? Initially I thought it was just orchestrated to create a bit more confusion for Tsubaki. But then when the whole thing with the briefcases came on, it's like, oh, maybe? Because they were holding the briefcase, right? At some point, and Tsubaki snatched it and ran or something. But yeah, there was just so much that happened. And because I wasn't reading it with, like... I didn't read it with hindsight in mind, of course, because we hadn't arrived at that point where we were talking about briefcases being switched and so on. I didn't pay attention with this kind of like idea in mind. I was just trying to just keep up because there was just a lot. So yeah, a lot of things are jumbled in my head. Usami nodded in agreement. She's playing with her hair again. Have you hit an impasse?
そういうわけでもないんですが。
Then you've got an idea. Usami went silent. What? Don't tell me you're suspecting me again. I laughed as I tested the waters.
確かに京介くんは細身で背が高いよね。
And to tell the truth, I have a black coat too. Usami didn't laugh.
ねえねえ、宇佐美さん。京介くんがなんで椿ちゃんの弟を誘拐するっていうの？
Good question, right? Yeah, why do I have to be the one with idle enough hands to do something like that?
犯人の動機は未だ謎が残っています。そういった意味で行き詰まっていますね。
Since you look so troubled, let me tell you some juicy news. This is rapidly becoming a pain in the ass. The stocks of Shiratori construction that the kidnapper specified. Ooh, you're giving her more ingredients to, you know, work with, if you tell her that. Usami started playing with her hair again. I've heard they're going to plummet. Usami's fingers lost in her long hair suddenly stopped swirling.
本当ですか？
Not in the least.
どうしてそんなことを？
I heard it from Papa.
なら、魔王は今頃悔しがっているんでしょうか？
No, absolutely not. I don't know about that. Shiratori Construction's stock drop could be predicted by anyone with the tiniest relation to the... Usami interrupted me.
株価が落ちるのを知っていて、身代金に指定してきたということですか？
It's pretty out there, I know.
なるほど。
She sighed. Just something to ruminate on.
大いに。
Usami took her deepest bow yet. Anyway, all we can do at the moment is pray that Tsubaki's brother returns safely.
ですね。
I turned as our conversation began to wind down.
どうもすみませんでした。失礼します。
Usami left.
ていうか、まだ弟誘拐されたまんまなの？やばくね？
Now he's worried after he made the whole day about me, 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 me. It's my birthday. Give me gifts, treat me to dinner. Now he has a reaction. It's getting late. Dish out your offerings. Yeah, good one. He demanded that she keep it secret even from her parents. Oh no. Late that night, Tsubaki moved silently toward a nearby park. Alone. She told her father she would be taking a walk. Although she never was good at lying, she wasn't scolded. Perhaps her father was too worked up over worrying about Hiroaki's safety. Her cell phone had rang that day as she returned home in the evening. Tsubaki had been summoned. As she thought she might be able to get her brother back, she obeyed. She sat on the specified bench, awaiting Hiroaki's appearance and the kidnapper's voice. A voice came from behind her. Do not turn around. Its commanding tone forced a shiver up her spine. Though she hadn't sensed anything, the man was already behind Tsubaki.
まず、初めに言っておく。
It was the voice from the calls. A voice she'd heard many times. Sure enough, it was the kidnapper.
興奮して後ろを振り向くなよ。私の顔を見たら、大好きな弟が明日の朝刊に乗ることになる。
Tsubaki couldn't help but get nervous. The kidnapper was right behind her.
返事はどうした？
わかりました。
聞き分けが良くていい。
Tsubaki felt like running away from this place.
今まで全部言うことを聞いてきました。ですから、今度はあなたの番です。
Her knees trembled in fear. The terror overwhelmed her, even her throat, as it vainly attempted to form coherent words.
弟、返してください。
A sigh from behind her penetrated her ears.
全部言うことを聞いた。だと？
お金も渡しました。警察にも通報していません。
Tsubaki slowly explained the situation. What could the kidnapper possibly be discontent with?
では、なぜ宇佐美春が邪魔をしてきたのだ？
Well, to be fair, you never mentioned that she shouldn't be getting in the way. And you involved her. Like, fuck.
宇佐美が私を捕まえようとした。知らないわけではないだろう。
True, Haru had chased the kidnapper along Central Boulevard. She had also swapped the briefcases containing the ransom. Could this have angered the kidnapper? Tsubaki came clean.
はるちゃんはあなたを捕まえると言っていました。
それを許したのか？
はい。
Tsubaki immediately began to wonder if she might have made the wrong choice.
はるちゃんはあなたを捕まえようとしたり、ケースをすり替えたりしました。それを怒ってらっしゃるんですか？
ケースをすり替えたりか。
He laughed through his nose.
急場の仕掛けにしてはよく頑張った方だな。
Even so, it was all in vain against such a talented criminal. Oh god. Oh. The kidnapper had already taken the ransom sometime before then.
しかし椿、もし宇佐美の手口が功を奏し、まんまと身代金を取り戻していたら、どうなっていたと思う？
どうって。
Tsubaki didn't know. All she knew for certain was that his voice, his horrific voice, which crushed and subdued one's spirit, was capable of inspiring endless depths of terror.
お前は私に身代金を渡すと約束した。だが一方で裏切っていた。そういう人間に報いを与えるべきだと私が思っても何ら不思議はないだろう。
Oh.
すみませんでした。
She loosed torrential words of apology, swift and
宇
profuse.
佐美はこう言ったのだろう。身代金を渡したが最後、弟は戻らないと。
はい。人質はリスクの塊だからと。
私はきちんと返すつもりだったのにな。
Sure thing. Mao sighed.
考えてもみろ。人質を返さないということは殺害するということだ。
Each hair on Tsubaki's body stood on end.
いい加減分かってほしいが、私は警察と事を構えるつもりはない。警察を頼るな。それだけはしつこく念を押しておいたはずだ。
はい。
人質が帰ってこなかったらお前たちはどうする？今度こそ警察を頼るだろう。人を一人殺すというのは大変なことだ。必ず足がつく。
Mao's casual description of such monstrosities was far too detailed and concise for comfort. This subconscious realization sent Tsubaki's stomach reeling. As she could no longer attempt to fathom his words without becoming ill, Tsubaki caved in and accepted his claims.
お前は宇佐美にそそのかされたということだな。
そんなつもりは、はるちゃんはただ良かれと思って。
それは違う。
The kidnapper interrupted.
宇佐美が私を捕まえようとしたのはお前たちのためではない。支援だ。
A chill tainted the air.
知りたいか？
Tsubaki couldn't answer the kidnapper's question. Her silence stirred up laughter from the
そん
darkness.
なことより弟を返してほしそうだな。
Those words flung her back toward her mission. Lightly curling her stiff fingers, Tsubaki nervously asked.
返してもらえるんですか？
The adversary replied with a sigh. A sigh which suddenly transformed into another bout of laughter.
お前が私の言う通りにすればな。
His wild laughter took a tight grip of Tsubaki's heart. That condition had been more of a threat than a request. Tsubaki's lips were shivering. She could no longer feel the chill in the air. She thought only of getting as far away from here as she could. She vaguely sensed the feeling of disgust as this man through the haze of fear. Maou. She remembered the time when Haru mentioned his name. Maou reached out his claws and closed the distance between Tsubaki and himself. Tsubaki always looked into her partner's eyes when upholding a conversation. Yet the courage to turn back, the courage to face the terror behind her, was entirely absent in Tsubaki at the moment. The wind blew. Maou whispered softly into her ear. I came to school again today. Morning, everyone. My classmates replied cheerfully to my greeting.
おはようございます、サザエさん。
Hey, can't you do something about your hair? Every single morning I come in and you spoil my good mood.
サザエさんこそ眠そうですね。
Really? Well, I
昨
didn't.
日は遅くまで付き合わせてしまいましたね。
Jeez, I returned to my seat. I haven't called Miki-chan in quite a while, so I guess I'll do it now.
白鳥さんはまだいらっしゃらないみたいですね。
Apparently not. She's absent all the time.
何か事情でもあるんですかね。
Might be related to the stock crash. Usami nodded in agreement.
あ、椿だ。
Tsubaki was already at her seat before we even realized she came in. You don't see that every day. Tsubaki always jumps in and greets everyone energetically. Tsubaki? She panicked when addressed. Is something wrong?
浅井くん、おはよう。
その様子じゃまだひろあきくんは。
So the kidnapper still has the hostage. It'll be a hassle if the police have to get involved. Tsubaki sank her teeth into her lips.
はるちゃん、
なんだ？
ちょっと聞いてもいいかな？
She asked apprehensively. Usami and I both frowned at seeing Tsubaki like this.
はるちゃんはどうして犯人を捕まえようと思ったの？
Usami replied
犯
unshaken.
人を捕まえれば身代金を渡す必要もないし、ひろあきくんも帰ってくるからだ。
そっか。
今さらなんでそんなことを？
Tsubaki couldn't answer Usami's question and looked away.
それだけ？
え？
本当にそれだけの理由なの？
She was acting a bit
犯
strange.
人は魔王だって言ってたよね。
うん。
知り合いなんだよね。
うん。
私の家庭の事情とは別に、はるちゃんは犯人を捕まえたかったんじゃないの？
I couldn't help but think that something about Tsubaki was different today. This might be the first time I've ever seen Tsubaki suspect someone.
確かに私は魔王を捕まえたいと常々思っている。魔王には個人的な恨みもある。それが何かまずかったか？
Usami turned her face away after confessing, as if she was hurt deeply.
ごめん、変なこと聞いて。
いや、
はるちゃんは良かれと思って犯人を捕まえようとしてくれたんだよね。
何の役にも立たなかったが。
Things kept getting stranger and stranger. Normally, Tsubaki would have been comforting Usami right now.
もう一ついいかな？
何でもいいぞ。
はるちゃんはお金を渡したらひろあきは帰ってこないって言ったよね。
うん。何度も言うが、犯人は身代金に関係なく人質を返すつもりはないんじゃないかと思っていた。
In fact, Hiroaki-kun was still trapped somewhere.
本当にそうなのかな？犯人は警察を恐れてたんだよ。
そのようだな。
ひろあきがもし本当に帰ってこないなら、私たち今度こそ警察に連絡するよ。犯人もそれを予想しているはずだから、きっとひろあきは返すつもりだったんじゃないかな。
Tsubaki was right. If the kidnapper really fears law enforcement, then he must free the hostage. Okay, let's see where this goes, then I'll say a few thoughts. He would be in deep trouble if he killed the hostage.
私は犯人ではないからわからないが、警察を恐れているからこそ人質は返さないつもりだったんじゃないか？犯人はこう予測していた。椿の一家は人質が帰ってきたら、次は身代金を返してもらおうと思い。
This theory was pretty feasible. If the hostage was freed, there would be nothing for Tsubaki to worry about when calling the police. The ransom came at the expense of the land that they'd been protecting up until now. Tsubaki's dad wouldn't want to let go of it, so it's possible that the kidnapper has already factored this into his plans.
何にせよ、私がそう思うというだけであって、事実はわからないが。
そっか。
Tsubaki emitted a long sigh afterward.
ごめんね、はるちゃん。
She cried with all her voice.
問い詰めるような真似してごめんね。
It was as if a demon within her vanished. What's gotten into you?
なんでもないの。
疲れてるみたいだな。
Tsubaki recovered her cheerful smile.
何かあったのか？
今日は朝からはるちゃんに迷惑かけてしまいました。丸。
いや、丸じゃないっしょ。
After that, a regular day began. Okay.
おいおい、京介聞いてくれよ。俺この年になるまで知らなかったぜ。
Oh my god, what even is it now? Oh jeez. Oh gosh. Everyone gathered on the rooftop during lunch break as always.
ペッティングって
Oh
い
my
やらしい
god.
言葉だったんだな。
Oh my god. And here I was thinking you might say something interesting.
ビビったぜ。三軒茶屋あたりの家族が土手で犬を散歩させるおしゃれな言葉かと思ってたぜ。
Good for you. Tsubaki arrived at the rooftop as we continued our meaningless conversation.
あ、椿ちゃん、大丈夫？
何が？
ほらあのガキ。じゃなくて、弟さん。
Tsubaki paled.
大丈夫だよ。きっと生きてるって。
Eiichi didn't even understand the reason behind the heart-stopping atmosphere.
ありがとう。 H 君にも迷惑かけたね。
Eichi, worry.
いいよいいよ、僕はいいんだよ僕は。
Sure thing, dude, sure thing. He had a triumphant look on his face. His denseness is almost endearing, in a way. Tsubaki? Can I come to your house to hang out tonight? Oh gosh. Tsubaki's eyes shot open and she froze for a second.
夜って何時くらい？
I won't stay late.
ならいいよ。
Are you busy?
別にないよ。でも、どうして？
Seems like my visit isn't welcomed. There's something I need to discuss with your father. About returning the loan. And also, I'm worried about you. Eichi spat.
心配しないでいいよ。私は元気だから。
If you say so.
浅井くんはやっぱり優しいな。
She smiled. A weak smile bathed in darkness.
自分もいいっすか？
はるちゃんも？
Usami showed up out of thin air and asked for Tsubaki's permission. Why do you have to
い
come?
え、何か役に立てる場面があるかもしれませんので。
Quit speaking Martian.
こう見えて、炊事洗濯掃除は得意でして。
You're full of it. It's quite obvious that you fail at life. What?
ゲイとかもできますし。
I call bullshit.
宇佐美さん、どんなことできるの？
She blushed and looked
ま
down.
あ、バイオリンを少々。
Ooh, okay.
そういえば転入してきた時言ってたね。
I thought it was a joke.
僕も。
これがネタでも何でもないんですよ。恐ろしいことに。
Why would it sound scary? Anyway, Tsubaki doesn't need you to perform for her right now.
今度聞かせてね。
It's probably only a bluff anyway. Even so, I do need to get some information on Usami. I need to find out her relation to Maou. I had wanted to delay this, but... You have so much free time, Usami. I said this in a playful tone.
暇ではないですよ、暇では。
Then what do you do at night?
銭湯に行ってます。お風呂好きなんで。髪洗うの時間かかるんすよね。
Cut it, then. No!
それではるちゃんもお家に来るの？
ちょっと遅くなるかもしれないが。
Also, as a lady with long hair, it's actually not that big of a hassle. Not as much as people make it out to be. Her face froze as if something nagged her in the back of her mind.
悪いけど11時には帰ってもらえるかな？
Oh, you really had plans? I mean... Even if she hadn't, like, asking guests to leave by 11 p.m. on what is probably a weeknight, yeah, that's fair.
うん。
そんな時間から何をするんだ？
Oh, jeez.
ネットゲーム。
Oh, God, Tsubaki, oh, that's such a bad lie. Games? Why so late? Can't you play them at any time?
僕わかるよ。ネット上のお友達と
She's
時間を
playing
合わせてプレイしたいんでしょ？
そう、みんなで悪いボスをやっつけるの。
Come on, this doesn't make sense. Her brother is missing. She wouldn't be like messing around in some video game killing bosses. Of course not, but still. Usami and I exchanged glances. She must be thinking the same thing as me. Tsubaki is hiding something. Something that can't be discussed with us.
なんだ、椿ちゃんも結構余裕だな。
だから大丈夫だって。
I gaze down at the streets from the rooftop. Amidst the usual scenery, one can see the true winter slowly seeping in. After school, Tsubaki and I walked side by side down Central Boulevard. Did something happen yesterday? I was going to make use of our time alone. You can talk to me about it. You know that, right?
何を？
Don't play dumb. You went for Usami's throat first thing this morning. She quickly grew uncomfortable.
そうだったっけ。
Pretending to be absent-minded like that doesn't suit you, Tsubaki. Brother or no brother, they at least won't do themselves. I mean, yeah, that's true. I smirked and stared at her. Don't tell me, you called the police? I said it like it was nothing.
違うよ。
Really?
まだヒロアキも返してもらってないしね。
Then what is it? Tsubaki averted her gaze, trying to escape my question.
ごめん、なんでもないよ。それより浅井くん、
She changed the subject as something came to her
ハル
mind.
ちゃんのこと知ってる？
No, anything. What do you mean?
ハルちゃんと犯人について。
Why would Tsubaki be interested in the relation between Usami and Mao all of a sudden? No, nothing at all. All I've heard is that she holds some big grudge against him.
そう。
What about you? Do you know anything?
知らないよ。
Does it interest you? She cast her gaze to the ground.
私、
She responded almost in a whisper.
お友達だと思ってて。でも、そのお友達のこと何にも知らなくて。
Tsubaki's face twisted in anguish. Oh god. Ah, I can't take it. I can't take it. Like, we all agree that Tsubaki is just too good for this world and naive at times, and she gives a lot of people the benefit of the doubt. And it's just only ironic how she can be manipulating into suspecting and not giving the benefit of the doubt to the one person in this whole situation who was actually trying to help her. Regardless of whatever reasons Usami had or like her personal grudge, she was actually truly trying to help. And she was manipulated into suspecting her by the guy who kidnapped her brother, asked for like a really huge ransom that made them put their land as collateral, and then ran her around a whole day. Just really, come on, Tsubaki. Please, girl. Oh, I can't. Ugh. Alright.
そういうのどうなんだろうって今日は思ってたの。
What on earth brought on this train of thought? I think that habit of yours is just fine if you ask me. I mean, that odd little quirk is just part of who she is. Tsubaki cried out.
だって誘拐犯と知り合いなんだよ。私の弟をさらうような人と知り合いって一体どういうことなんだろう。
I'm not sure. Why don't you try asking her?
聞いたけどなんだかはぐらかされて、いや私の聞き方が悪かったのかな。
I feel like she was pretty straightforward. Like, when you asked her what her motivations were, she was like, yeah, I do have a grudge against him, and I do want to catch him. And I also wanted to help you. Like, can those two things exist at once? I think they can. Same here. I asked about her relationship with Maou once before, but she refused to reveal it. Silence fell upon us. What, do you hate Usami all of a sudden?
気に入らないなんてそんなこと。
She took a deep breath. You must be tired, Tsubaki. They paid the ransom, and her brother has yet to return. She must be extremely worked up. But the situation won't change even if you go after Usami.
それはよくわかってるよ。はるちゃんに悪いことしたな。
I held back the urge to click my tongue and asked, Aren't you going home to spend some time with your siblings?
今日はないけど。
Oh, then could you accompany me for a
寄
while?
ってく？
Let's go shopping. Come buy a CD with me. Tsubaki shook her head.
お父さんが心配するから早く帰りたいの。
I can see that.
ごめんね。気晴らしになればいいと思ったんでしょ。ありがとう。
I'm only coming over today to talk to your dad about the money. I'll leave immediately thereafter. That was the last bit of conversation we had along the way. The truth is, sir, alone's alone. Things will get a bit messy if you can't return it. I started talking to Tsubaki's dad about the land. There's still a week until the deadline, but the money was borrowed without any real means of paying it back in the first place. They're aware of your situation as well, so we'll most likely end up having to seize your land.
やっぱりここを出ていくことになるんだね。
I sympathize with your situation,
分
but
かっているよ。悪いのは犯人だ。僕らに非がないように。お金を貸してくれた人にも何の罪もない。
let's all focus on suspecting and pointing fingers at Usami, but not at anybody involved in getting our land out of our hands after this has been like a huge dispute for a long, long time. No, no, no. Nobody else is at fault. It's just how things happen. Yeah, God. Nobody's connecting these dots, huh? I'm very sorry. I lowered my head. No, you're not. I apologize, sir. I do feel like I may be meddling a bit too much, but... Well, you guys are in a tight spot and all, so I tried to negotiate with my father. As a result, I was able to get a real estate agency to prepare a new home for you. If it pleases you, you can move in there. His eyes went
あ
round.
りがたい話だけど、うちは大所帯だよ。
I've already mentioned that.
浅井君、君には本当に感謝しているよ。
Oh my god, can't you see it? It's the thing that you've been pressured to do this whole time and you've refused. And now things have been spun around in such a way that you're doing the thing that you didn't want to do and being grateful for it. Oh dear lord. Oh dear lord. Okay. He bowed deeply.
犯人が悪魔なら、君は天使だな。
An adult bowing to a kid like me. Still, I felt nothing. For more information, you can talk to the person in charge directly. Yeah, so helpful, so nice, such an angel. I took out the card from the real estate agency. It's a subsidiary of Sano Corporation. The same company arranged to buy the land from the lender after it's been seized. Uh-huh. Again, no one's connecting the dots. Okay. Things are going to get pretty tough from this point
こん
forward.
なことになるなら、さっさとこの土地を売ってしまえばよかったんだね。
Well, if you had done that, you wouldn't even have had to borrow money. There weren't any other options. The kidnapper demanded 50 million yen in a single day. Even if they sold the land, it would take at least a week to finalize everything.
長く住ませてもらったな。
He looked around nostalgically.
しかし、せめてひろあきが帰ってくるまでは住まわせてもらいたいものだね。
So that means maybe a week. I'm actually a bit relieved. How do you know the kid is gonna return in a week? There's been no sign of them returning him. Like, what are you talking about?
なぜだね。
That you folks have come to terms with moving out. Tsubaki's father cocked his head to the side and thought for a moment. Ah, that came out wrong. I just meant that it would be hard on you if you decided to stay behind on land that had already been seized. To come home one day only to find all your furniture gone and replaced by a lone eviction notice pasted to your door. To have nowhere to go under the cold night sky. I shook the painful memories from my head. Well, it's time for me to leave. Oh, so you've lived this, and now you're inflicting it on other people. Great. Great. How wonderful. I apologize again for not being much help.
もう帰るのかい。おい、椿。
He called to the depths of the house.
何お父さん。
I'm going home. Two kids chased after Tsubaki.
お姉ちゃん、お腹すいた。
もうご飯作るね。浅井くん、帰るの？
お姉ちゃん、さっきのお話の続きしてよ。
いい子にしてたらね。
The kids surrounded Tsubaki.
浅井くん、なんかごめんね。
It's fine. I only came here to have a talk with your dad anyway.
お兄ちゃんもおままごとする？
Haha. If there's one thing to say about the Miwa kids, it's that they certainly are outgoing. I wouldn't be surprised if Hiroaki went with the kidnapper out of his own free will. By the way, where's your mom? I couldn't get it off my mind, so I stopped and asked before I left.
ちょっと体調悪いみたいで。
Is she sleeping? Tsubaki nodded. Give her my best wishes. I'll see you tomorrow.
じゃあね。
Shouts of bye bye boyfriend follow from the kids, just like chirping birds.
さあさあ、ご飯にするよ。
The house echoed with laughter as I left. Oh. Oh, a bundle of long hairs smothered my face as soon as I stepped out onto the porch.
なんすかいきなり抱きついてきて。
I wasn't embracing you. What are you doing here?
椿の家に行くって言ってたじゃないですか。
Hmm?
え？
Oh, right. I thought you were kidding.
浅井さんはどうも私のことを軽んじてますね。
Her eyes were crystal clear. You call this coming to Tsubaki's house? What time do you think it is?
いやだから遅くなるかもって言いましたよ。
Why are you so late anyway? Work?
いえ、アルバイトはしばらく入れないようにしています。
Huh? Why?
いろいろと調べたいことがありまして。
Investigate. Don't tell me you're still on that.
Hi.
She said it as though it was the most obvious thing in the world. Just leave it to the
警
police.
察には連絡していないそうじゃないですか。
Yeah, this is so weird. What? Just leave it to the police? When you know that they're not calling the police on purpose and they can't? And they're scared to do it? Like... What? Even so, why would you go to the trouble of doing it
気が
yourself?
済むまでやりたいだけです。
Well, she did talk real big about catching the kidnapper, but then ended up not accomplishing a single thing after all. So, what are you trying to find this
ひろ
time?
あきくんの消息です。
And, did you manage to find anything?
いいえ、
Don't say it so confidently.
すいません。
This girl is hopeless.
犯人がひろあきくんを連れ去ったであろう場所は特定できました。
Oh, come on, everybody knows it happened somewhere between the kindergarten and his house.
おっしゃる通りです。今日はずっとその道を行ったり来たりして、たまにすれ違う人にお話を伺ってました。
In other words, you were looking for a witness.
はい、
Did you find one?
さっぱりです。白いセダンを見ませんでしたかと何度聞いたことか。
A white sedan.
ええ、先日南区の住宅街に止まっていた車です。椿がそこに呼び出されました。
Did you see it happen?
はい。後から聞いた話だと、魔王は椿とドライブするつもりだったとか。
That's not the point. Do you remember the license plate number?
覚えていますよ、もちろん。
Then we can check who owns the car.
陸運局ですか。
No, there's a website that can give you more detailed information than the Department of Transportation. They can even sniff out light vehicles and motorcycles.
しかし、魔王も当然、車から足がつく可能性を想定しているはずです。
Well, if he used the stolen car, Lord knows what information you'd get out of the license plate number.
ええ。ですので、調べてはいません。
She hung her head and closed her eyes. Usami always looks a little gloomy, so it's hard to say whether or not she's depressed. Say, did you ever figure out how the kidnapper took the ransom? What, cat got your tongue? Usami frowned.
もし分かったとして、何になるのかなと思いまして。ふと虚しくなりました。
Come again?
すいません。逆ギレみたいで。
I have no idea what you're talking about.
ですから、もう身代金は奪われたんです。私は探偵さんではないんです。犯行の手口を暴くことに、それほど意味があるとは。
Well, aren't you at least curious?
今は、椿の弟さんを探すのに、全力を尽くしたいんです。
Usami can be pretty stubborn when she wants to be. I guess this means she still doesn't know how the kidnapper did it. I thought she was smart, but in the end she's just a strange girl.
浅井さん、よかったら協力してもらえませんかね。
What are you talking about?
もちろん、ひろあきくんを探すことをです。
For a moment, I didn't know how to reply. Sure. It's for Tsubaki, so I guess I could spare some time. If Hiroaki doesn't come back, Tsubaki's family will most definitely call the police. An investigation would prompt Sano Corporation to put unimaginable pressure on the Azai Corporation. We need to find Hiroaki, even if it means making use of company resources. I don't know if I'll be of any use, so don't expect anything.
いえいえ、浅井さんはかの浅井工業の御曹司じゃないですか。
She brought up the subject smoothly. She caught me so off guard. I almost didn't catch it. What did you just say? And Usami ignored my question.
お父さんは浅井権蔵さんという名前ですよね。
Should I answer or not? My silence was my answer. How did you know? Usami suddenly started acting flustered.
私は浅井さんのことが好きなので、浅井さんのことは何でも知りたいんです。
That's disgusting, alright? Stop giving me goosebumps. What the fuck? Wait. What is this line? Oh god.
ざわざわすか。立ちました。
It was so gross that I couldn't help but frown.
学園の先生にちょっと聞いただけですが、そんなに気持ち悪かったですか？
You've got a lot of nerve to go on acting like that in front of someone you just did a background check on.
別に探りを入れようなどとは思っていなかったんですが、そんなに触れてはいけないステータスだったんですか？
Now that she mentions it, that information really wasn't enough to get all worked up about. What I really didn't want people to know was my position in the Azai Corporation. Don't tell anyone.
勇気もありませんが、なぜです？
Because I hate standing out. I always have. The most suitable place for me is hidden in the dark, silently observing.
なんか、すいません。
Usami stared at me.
そして協力していただけるようで、ありがとうございます。
But you're such a weirdo.
はい？
You're under the impression that Hiroaki is no longer of this world, aren't you?
その可能性が高いとは思っています。
If so, why even bother looking for him?
可能性が高いというだけで、絶対ではありませんから。人の命がかかっています。絶対ではない以上、かけなければならない可能性が残っています。
Gamble, eh? I was a little impressed. And here I thought you were a person who functions solely on logic.
そうっすか？
Well, whatever. Anyway, I'm going home.
あ、じゃあ携帯電話の番号を交換しませんか？
Exchange? You have a cell phone now?
はい。さすがに契約しました。1円携帯ですわ。
Finally noticed the inconvenience, eh? I put her number into my phone as I told her mine.
これあれですよね。恋人登録みたいなことをすると、お互いの通話料が安くなるサービスありましたよね。
Okay. Why are you mentioning that? What? Please God, not again, you disgusting woman. Well, yeah, that's true.
ぜひお願いしたいんですけど。
Huh?
いや、変な勘違いなさらないでください。自分男性の友人がいませんで、それでもお金は乏しいわけでして、これはつまり、浅井さんに一肌脱いでもらうしかないわけです。
Okay, it's about the money, got it. I get it already, Jesus, you're gross.
すみませんね。だからって、たくさん電話したりしませんから。
Please don't call me for anything stupid, I beg of you. See ya.
はい。自分はこれから椿と椿のお父さんにいくつか聞きたいことがありますので。
I left the Mio household. What? Usami?
つながった。
Huh?
自分携帯電話とか持つの初めてでして、なんだかドキドキしますね。
What?
特に用事はないです。つながるかなとドキドキしたかっただけです。
Okay, that's cute and at the same time, This girl is so annoying. Oh gosh. She lied again. The feeling that she was betraying her family and friends was positively suffocating.
本当にこれで弟を返してもらえるんですか？
The kidnapper, Maou, had given Tsubaki a single order last night.
言われた通りに、はるちゃんに昨日の話をしました。
In other words, she questioned the relationship between Haru and Mao, and the reason behind Haru's refusal to deliver the
ど
ransom.
う思った？
Mao suddenly asked. Tsubaki went speechless.
嫌でした。
Mao stirred a bit behind
宇
Tsubaki.
佐美はお前が納得いく答えを口にしたか？
納得？
はぐらかされたのではないか？
Tsubaki thought back to the conversation at school this
は
morning.
るちゃんが身代金を渡そうとしないのは、はるちゃんなりに理由があってのことで、
私との関係は？
それは
Tsubaki's attention dropped to the hands on her
言い
knees.
たくないことの一つくらいあると思うんです。
いい答えだ。
Mao teased
しか
Tsubaki.
し、宇佐美が怖くはないのか？
怖い？
私のような卑劣な凶悪犯と知り合いなのだぞ。
Well, how do you know an outlaw like him, Tsubaki? Right? You had something happen in your life because of him. Right? What if she also had something very unpleasant happen in her life because of him? Like, after this, you would hold a grudge against him, wouldn't you, Tsubaki? So, maybe whatever happened with Haru as well, she's made her hold a grudge. Like, really now? A gulp escaped her throat. She knew he had hit the mark. That was a suspicion that had been bugging her since dusk. Yet fear was not the thing she felt. Haru was exhausted from trying to help Tsubaki. Though the ransom was still taken in the end, she still clearly felt Haru's effort. There was no reason behind it. Tsubaki trusted Haru by instinct. Oh, good.
椿、人を疑わないというのは、相手を軽んじているのも同じだぞ。
Mao washed her head. Oh god. Oh dear.
なぜですか？
相手に深い興味を持てば疑うものなのだ。お前は人を疑わないことで人間関係の煩わしさから逃げているに過ぎない。
Trepidation grew inside Tsubaki. Oh, sorry about that. How could this man behind her say such piercing things, things capable of penetrating her very
お
soul?
前のような一見優しいようでいて、実は何も考えていないだけの人間を何というか知っているか。
fuck off.
偽善ですか？
Mao's tone deepened again.
坊やだ。
Mao continued with a cold
子
voice.
供は親が親というだけで信じる。お前もそうだ。お前も友人が友人というだけで信じる。
Speechlessness, discomfort, an alarm rang in her mind, warning her that she could not continue listening to this madman's soft whispers.
それより言うことは聞いたんですから、弟を早く返してください。
She gave her all to change the course of the
どう
conversation.
しても返さないって言うなら、警察に通報しますよ。
When she thought of Hiroaki, the forthcoming anger pushed away her
警
confusion.
察は許してほしいな。なあ、椿。私にだって深い事情があるのだ。何も好き好んで5歳の少年を誘拐したと思うか？
それは
Tsubaki shook her head. For a moment, she had sympathy for the kid. What? Why would you? She gathered up her courage and answered Mao.
どんな事情があっても決してやってはいけないことはあると思うんです。
もっともな言葉だ。身にしみる。
だったらもうこんなことはやめにしませんか？
やめる？
ひろあきさえ返してもらえれば警察には連絡しませんから。もともとそのつもりでしたから。
She flung out those words, but it was not what she was thinking. Though she really didn't plan on calling the police, she still held hopes that Haru would catch the kidnapper. Come to think of it, she really was non-committal. As if he had already known her thoughts, Mao said.
やってはいけないことはある。ただ、それを承知の上でなおやらねばならないこともあると私は思うが。
そういうお話はもう結構です。
では、話題を変えて弟の話をしよう。
There was an urge in her right now to ignore the consequences and turn around.
ひろあきは無事なんですね。
宇佐美はどうも死んだことにしたいらしいが、ちゃんと生きている。監禁しているとはいえ、食事もきちんととっているし、部屋もしっかりと温めている。
Out of the goodness of your heart, right? This one sentence eased. Oh, sorry. This one sentence eased the tension on Tsubaki's mind. She sighed in relief, forming a white haze in the cold air.
私は子供が好きだ。昨日は暇を見つけて小さなおもちゃを与えてやった。弟は喜んでいたぞ。人がつっこい少年だな。
What a great person you are! You gave him a toy! Wow! Forget about the fact that you're keeping him away from his family and bankrupting them and constantly like making Tsubaki do things with the promise that you'll return him, and then you are consistently not keeping that promise. But you gave him a toy. Great. Fantastic.
そうですか。
She held back tears. Hope flooded her heart, and she felt refreshed now that her predominant concern had been sorted out.
返してほしいか?
She's been begging you to do this the whole time. The fuck is this question? She wanted to answer, but she could not choke out a voice. I want to see him.
なら、私の言うことを聞けるな。
The devil sneered. His voice carried with it a tempting invitation. An invitation that was impossible to refuse. Tsubaki tasted a strange perverted sense that he was directing her to the borders of hell. However, that awkward feeling only lasted for but a moment. The thick clouds covered the approaching November night sky, introducing an endless darkness. My God. I woke up in the morning, had a cup of milk, and read the papers. Police initiate a thorough investigation of the Jiuga Saki school. I understood the moment I saw the headlines. Someone was suspected of accepting bribes. Apparently, there were some under-the-table deals between the school's director and the contractors working on the school expansion project. That's Shiratori's dad, right? So that's why the stock's going to plummet. Shiratori, that girl's family may be facing a crisis. Oh well, it has nothing to do with me. I bet you're gonna make it your business though. I bet you. Oh yeah, pretty big, huh?
まったくだよ。まさかあの女優が結婚するなんてな。
That's the kind of news he means. Okay. Let me guess. Your dreams of getting with her have been shattered. Oh, is that what you were talking about? In retrospect, Eiichi would never bother to read an article about Shiratori construction. Regardless of the school's financial situation, our daily lives will go on unaffected.
おはよう。
Tsubaki didn't look very well as she greeted me.
昨日夜更かししてゲームしてたの？
ゲーム？
あれ、ネットゲームするとか言ってなかった？
She's obviously hiding something. You don't have to force yourself to come to school.
本当なら休ませてもらいたいんだけどね。今日は生徒会の仕事もあるし。
You really are strong, Tsubaki. Tsubaki shook her head.
忙しくしていろいろと嫌なことを紛らわせたいだけだよ。
Yeah.
ああ、その気持ちわかるな。
Don't say that when you know jack shit about what she feels.
ひどい、京介くん。
Color returned to Tsubaki's face as we continued our banter. On our way back to the classroom, Tsubaki and I ran into Shiratori. Hey.
おはよう、白鳥さん。
おはよう。
Shiratori didn't even look at me. There seems to be quite a fiasco.
何が？
I read the news. Shiratori crossed her arms when I brought up the subject.
別に前々から分かってたことだし。
新聞？何？ うかしたの？
Looks like Tsubaki doesn't know about this.
私の父が贈収賄の疑いで警察に捕まりそうなの。
She spoke as if it didn't concern her.
だからってみんなの毎日には影響ないから安心して。それじゃ。
Mizuha walked toward the classroom.
待って。
Tsubaki suddenly grabbed Mizuha's arms.
ごめん、いきなり。
何なの？
Suddenly, we switched to calling her by the first name, which is interesting.
なんとなく。
同情してくれるの？
ごめん。なんていう風に声かけていいかわからないけど。
そう。ありがとう。
Tsubaki's grip loosened and Shiratori entered the classroom.
浅井くん、詳しい事情。
Her eyes turned to me in search of help. To put it simply, Shiratori's father was giving preferential treatment to a particular contractor doing the bidding for the school expansion project.
それって確かなことなの？
Well, if that's what the papers say, then it must be true.
そうなんだ。
Oh, I gotta love that argument. If the paper says it, it must be true. Okay. Tsubaki's face was enveloped by a quiet darkness. Also, the Shiratori construction shares your family bought dropped a lot in value. Hey, Lord Mashiro. Thank you for coming around. Hi. In other words, the shares the kidnapper took are worth practically nothing. Ally, yes. I was trying to imply that this was really bad news for Tsubaki's family. Even if they got the shares back, the 50 million yen would never return. Nevertheless, Tsubaki was only worrying about Shiratori.
白鳥さん、お父さんのこと信じてるのかな？
Huh?
家族が大変な目にあって、なんかかわいそうだなって。
You're one to talk. As far as I can tell, you're in a much worse situation.
それはそれだよ。
Yeah, that's a good way to describe it. Unfortunately, that's where we are. I just don't understand how you still find time to worry about others.
余裕なんてないよ。ただ、白鳥さん寂しそうだな。
That's exactly what I'm talking about. We entered the classroom. Lunch break rolled around. I went to the rooftop and called Miki-chan.
浅井さん、ちょっとお話ししたいんですが。
I was stopped when I was just about to go buy myself some bread. About Hiroaki?
もちろん。
You found something. Usami had stayed at Tsubaki's house after we parted ways.
ちょっと二人で話をしたいんですが。
Okay. Always has been. I mean, yeah, it feels like it's been going on forever. Shortly thereafter, Kanon and Eiichi also arrived at the rooftop. I understand. How's the classroom?
ええ。
So, did you find any clues?
手がかりというほどでもありませんが。
What did you find then?
写真です。
A photograph?
犯人から送られてきた写真です。
Oh, right, the one sent back with the hair. I had only paid attention to the hair at the time.
昨日、椿の家にお邪魔して、もう一度詳しく見せてもらったんです。
What was it a picture of? Well, I guess it would be a picture of Hiroaki. Usami nodded.
問題は、ひろあきくんの居場所です。
You found hints in the photo? Usami shook her head after a slight hesitation.
どうも、どこかの廃屋ではないかと思って。
Give me the details. I haven't seen the picture.
まず、写真はかなり鮮明なものでした。ひろあきくんの顔がアップで写されていました。
Mm-hmm. What was his facial expression?
寝ていました。
So he was lying on the floor or something?
おっしゃる通りです。
What time of day was it?
夜か、もしくは窓のない室内でしょう。
So the place he's being kept is very dark then.
フラッシュを焚いて撮られた写真でしたね。
Well, why do you think it's an abandoned house?
床に寝かされたひろあきくんの周りには小石やガラス片が散乱していました。さらに顔のそばに倒れた書棚のようなものが見えました。
So much for him being treated well and the place being nice and cozy and warm and oh my god, they gave him a toy. That's amazing. A
はい
shelf.
書類のようなものが散乱していました。
So all in all, you'd classify it as dirty and untidy.
薄汚れたというよりもろ廃墟という印象でしたね。
Usami stopped for a moment.
さらに私が廃墟だと考える理由はひろあきくんの顔です。
His face.
顔のあちこちに虫刺されの跡があったんです。
Oh no. I see.
椿のお父さんに聞いたんですが、誘拐された日までひろあきくんの顔に腫れ物なんてなかったそうです。
Oh, I see where you're going. It's winter now.
はい、あちこち刺されてましたよ。
Yeah, there wouldn't be mosquitoes normally. The only possible explanation for this abnormal mosquito population is that he's been kept in a remote abandoned area.
まあもちろん確信に至っているわけではありませんが、闇雲に探すよりはいいかなと思っています。
Not bad. It's a step in the right direction at least.
5歳の子供を監禁する場所として人気のない場所を選ぶというのは妥当だと思います。
Right. Everything could be easily seen by neighbors if the place was in a residential area. The kidnapper would try to avoid situations where he'd be spotted by local grandmas while dealing with the hostage. Oh yeah, the grandmas snooping around. They were the network of the community through which the information spread. Yes.
さらに人質が泣きわめく可能性もありますからね。まあ何か噛ませて口は封じるのかもしれませんが。
Ah, I know what you want to say. I sighed. So now what? Are you inviting me on some Hardy Boys adventure to explore some ruins?
チキチキツアーって
I don't know what that is. It's probably a reference to something, but I'm not familiar. She appears to have found what I said to be quite lame.
すみません。そういうチキチキなお誘いです。
Give me a break. Are you serious?
本気ですとも。
Do you have any idea how many places fit that description in the city alone?
どれぐらいあるんですかね。
Well, I don't know exactly, but there should be at least 50.
おほう。1日2軒回るとして。
This isn't something to ho-ho over. If we couldn't find him even if we allotted a month, then I couldn't continue.
ええ。犯人が1ヶ月も人質を生かしておく理由はないと思います。
I mean, there is a reason. Psychologically torturing Tsubaki day in and day out. With like, I'll return him if you do what I say. I need to see that you are willing to obey me. Blah, 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 blah. Don't just come out and say it so easily.
よくて1週間でしょう。そういう統計もあります。それまでに人質が解放されなければ、最悪の事態が待っています。
Usami spoke softly. Come to think of it, is the reason you're so adamant in believing he won't return the hostage because he sent that photograph? Usami nodded.
犯人はどうして写真を送りつけてきたのか。それはもちろん、ひろあきくんを誘拐したことを被害者に証明するためです。
But if his only objective was to prove this, he could have just let Hiroaki speak on the telephone.
はい。電話の方が写真を残すよりは犯人にとってまずい証拠を残さずに済みます。それをあえてしないということは。
Hiroaki is in a state where he can no longer even use a phone. Oh my god.
あくまで推測ですがね。裏を書かれているのかもしれませんし。
Right. Where the photo was taken isn't necessarily where Hiroaki is being kept.
それでも何もしないよりはいいと思いまして。
But
乗り気じゃないんですか？
there are over 50 places in Tomanbetsu City alone.
はい。他県の廃墟なのかもしれませんしね。
I frowned as Usami straightened up.
50件以上とは言ってもですね、浅井さん。
What's with the sudden display of confidence?
ひろあきくんが監禁されている可能性が高い物件から優先的に回っていきます。
Likelihood?
やぶかの出るような山林があって人気がない場所です。
Setting mountains aside, aren't pretty much all abandoned sites places with no people around?
いいえ、浅井さん。誘拐事件の人質を隠すような場所です。可能性の話で言えば 珍相談やホームレスの方も近づかないようなレアな廃墟なんじゃないでしょうか。
That's true. Yeah, I guess you're right. If I was the kidnapper. Hypothesis of the millennium. Okay. If I was the kidnapper, I would choose one of those places too. I'm not too familiar with the subject myself. No, not at all. But I hear it's pretty common for gangs to use those abandoned ruins as meeting spots and the homeless to use them as homes.
1日2件。3日もあれば、ひろあきくんを発見する確率は 10% 以上になります。道端で突然ペンギンと出くわすより高い確率です。当たり前の話です。
A penguin, okay. I never knew that you were so
と
optimistic.
にかく探してみます。
Very well. I just didn't feel like arguing anymore.
じゃあ、早速リストアップしてもらっていいですかね。
A list with information about nearby condemned sites.
無理っすかね。神でも。
God, oh, you're talking about that thing with Aichi and me. Information on condemned sites, huh? How would I gather that? Some research on the internet and in books would be the best way to start off. I guess I could also go ask some former gang members from the Azai Corporation's network. Anyway, I'm going home.
じゃあ、自分も浅井さんの家にお邪魔します。
Eh? Tsubaki showed up just as I was revealing my disgust.
2人ともここにいたんだ。
Yeah, I was just having a little talk with Tsumi.
へえ。
Tsubaki took a glimpse at Tsumi, looking rather stiff.
何の話？私も混ぜて。
なんやかんやあって、私が今日の放課後、浅井さんの家にお邪魔するということになったんだ。
No, wait. I don't want to let any classmates into my room, let alone Usami.
浅井さん、昨日約束したじゃないですか。
Promise? The promise to search for Hiroaki.
電話番号まで交換した仲じゃないですか。
そうなの？
うん。私の初コールが浅井さんだった。
My first call. You're really annoying, you know that? I scratched my head. As I sat there vexed, someone called out from the hallway. Oh my god. Oh no. Oh my heart. Oh my heart. It was Miss Noriko. She seems to be in a panic.
Hi.
Tsubaki called back and headed for the door. Miss Noriko's face was deathly white as she spoke to Tsubaki. Oh my god, what happened?
なんすかね。
Tsubaki returned after a while.
ごめん。
Tsubaki had a frightened look about her.
私、早退するね。
What happened?
お母さんが倒れたって。今、病院にいるって。
Oh gosh. Now that I think about it, she hasn't been well lately. She's been in bed ever since the kidnapping. Which hospital? I tried to remain calm. Judging by the name of the hospital, Tsubaki told me it was a general hospital in the Eastern District. Alright, take a taxi there. I'll get you there in no time.
タクシー？乗ったことないよ。
Wasn't taxi one of the means of transportation that Maou made her use? I feel like that might have been mentioned. Okay. I'll call for one now and lend you the money. It shouldn't be more than 5,000 yen.
そんな。
Don't worry about it. It's an emergency, right? I took a 5,000 yen bill from my wallet and handed it to Tsubaki. I picked up my cell to call the cab company too.
浅井くん、ごめん。
The call was already over by the time Tsubaki had a chance to resist again. He said he'll be here in 5 minutes. Go wait in front of the school. I've already told him the destination.
浅井くん。
What's the matter? You look like you want to cry.
ありがとう。本当に。
Tsubaki held the 5,000 yen bill tightly in her hands and dashed out of the classroom. Watching her back turn the corner, Usami whispered,
かっちょいいっすね、浅井さん。
hmm?
浅井さんは本当頼りになると
Oh
いうか、
yeah,
なんという
so
か。
super reliable. It's because I'm rich.
友達思いですね、本当。
No, really, it's normal, isn't it? Is she misunderstanding me? My business with Sano Corporation is only possible because of Tsubaki. I have to repay this favor. Repay this favor. It is the understatement of the century. Jesus.
では、当然椿の弟さんを探すのにも協力していただけるわけですよね。
You're gonna have to give her like taxi rides for life, and not even then would you come any close. Yeah, sure, they're even now. One taxi ride. Jeez. Of course, but can you come to my house tomorrow instead?
ひろあきくんの発見が遅れれば遅れるほどまずいことになるとお分かりでしょ？
He does, and he doesn't care. I get the feeling I'm being led around by the nose here. Very well, but you have to leave as soon as you have what you want. And he's still just lending, not actually paying for it. Yeah, that's true. He did say he's lending her the money, meaning that she would have to pay it back later on. So basically all he did was just the favor of making the phone call to the taxi company. Sure, they're even now. that repays it. I still have plans for the night.
ありがとうございます。
The bell signals the end of lunch break. Oh well. This could be a chance to investigate the connection between Usami and Maou. Alright. Thank you, Bancho.
噂には聞いてましたが、とんでもなく高いマンションですね。
She's so good. Okay, just give me a couple moments. I'm gonna make a quick run to the bathroom and I'll be right back. Alright, here I am. Everyone bullies MC. What do you mean by that, Bancho? You mean her remarks? I don't think that's that big of a deal. It's funny though, so tall and swanky. Usami was impressed looking up at the building.
浅井さんってすごいですね。
Not me, my dad. He's the rich one. I inserted the key into the auto-locking door and opened it.
こんなところに一人で住んでるんですか？
What's wrong with that?
ありますよ、もちろん。ひがみますよ、もちろん。
You're quite annoying. We entered the elevator after moving through the lobby.
お邪魔します。
First things first, don't touch anything here.
広い。何畳くらいあるんですか、これ。
Something like 1,600. Don't go nosing around. Sit your butt down over there and don't move.
眺めも最高じゃないですか。こんなところに女性を連れ込んで、一体どんな邪悪なことをしてるんですか？
Sammy looked around the house excitedly. With coffee, too.
ありがとうございます。あ、金庫だ。へえ、お金貯めてるんですか？
Usami pointed at the safe that holds 50 million yen. Just a little.
浅井さんってアルバイトしているわけじゃないですよね。
Interesting though that the amount of money that he raised so far, or like saved so far, is 50 million yen. And that's also the amount of money that was the ransom for Tsubaki. And also, or like for Tsubaki's brother. And also 50 million was the initial debt that they owed Gonzo, right? But now it's no longer that, it's like 200 million or more because of quote-unquote interest. My feeling is that he will never be able to gather all the money. But that's something else. Yeah, interesting though. Same amount. I get a small allowance working for my dad.
何にしても真面目にお金を貯めてらっしゃるんですね。
Why do you say that? I continued the question. Doesn't it seem strange that someone living in a huge expensive apartment like this would be saving up money?
いやまあ、なんとなくそう思っただけですけど。
She turned her attention to the furniture as she spoke.
部屋自体はとても高いんでしょう。ただ、ソファーやテーブルなんかは実は安物なんじゃないんですか？
You know your furniture pretty well.
自分、リサイクルショップとかよく行ってましたんで、見かけた品があるなと思ったんです。
It's true, and it's not only the furniture, the dinnerware and appliances are all cheap stuff too. It's all stuff I bought cheap from the Soa Alliance's pawn shop. A lot of them were gifts too.
浅井さんは洋服もたくさん持っているみたいでおしゃれですし、お部屋もこんなに立派です。車も持っているんですか？
Yeah, the parking garage is underground. Well, it's just a company car.
失礼なことを言わせていただきますと、浅井さんはなんだか見栄を張るためだけにお金を使っていて、普段はとても質素な方なんじゃないですか？
Somehow, I knew you would start to analyze my personality the second you stepped in that door.
すみません。つい気になってしまいまして。
Huh. Still, most of what Sunny said was correct. I lead a life that appears luxurious. Gonzo's orders, after all. I would personally rather save money. I still have to return the 200 million yen. Yeah, 200. Yeah. Debt my father owes. Nevertheless, appearances are crucial. Oh, sorry. The right house, the right car, the right clothes. I might only be his adopted son, but as a child of the fourth leader of the Sonoyama group, I can't just let others look down on me. I know better than to do that. Gonzo has shown me firsthand the power one can obtain by flaunting one's wealth. Wristwatches, cars, a few extra square feet. In the underground, these things are closely tied to your overall worth as a person. Ah, I think I probably eat better food than you, at least.
そうでしょうね。
I buy CDs and take Tsubaki out for coffee too. I do a lot of stuff that wastes money.
それもそうっすね。質素は言い過ぎでしたね。
Usami lowered her head
い
slightly.
や、私てっきり浅井さんは何か事情があってお金を稼ぎまくっている好青年かと思いましたよ。
Ah, you mean one of those guys that lives in a tiny little room, uses a public bath and toilet, and leads a frugal lifestyle, all for the sake of being able to pay back some of his sick mother's debt? What a ridiculous thought. Forget about 100 or 200,000. How could someone saving up such piddly amounts by living like that possibly repay 100 million yen debt? If you don't use money, you won't earn money. Oh, sorry. I've been repeating this to myself. I must repay all my debts. Still, I refuse to live a poor life. Otherwise, people who think they know the first thing about me will look upon me with pity. I never want to experience that kind of humiliation ever again.
それで本題ですけど、
Yeah, I'll get to researching in my study.
じゃあ自分も。
You wait here.
え、じゃあ自分は何しにお宅にお邪魔してるんですか？一緒に調べましょうよ。
I'll be in charge of searching on the internet for information on rundown locales and printing it out. You read it and I'll look for further information while you're reading.
ああ、なるほど。そういう役割分担ですね。
I just wanted Usami to stay out of my study. There are a lot of things on my computer that simply cannot be seen.
じゃあ早速。
I left Usami there and entered the study myself. We met in the living room after an hour had passed. The sun was already setting before we knew it. Seems like there are a lot of rundown spots. Not only were there a lot of condemned homes that nobody lived in, but there were a lot of ruined parks and hotels. There were even some old military facilities. Usami surfed through the information I had printed out.
この旅館、温泉旅館といって温泉が出なかったみたいですね。
I bet that's why it's closed. And look at this rental house. It might be condemned, but it's in the center of
です
town.
ね。そういうのは後回しにしていいと思います。
We'd be hard-pressed to believe that the kidnapper was hiding the hostage in an old building that people pass by all the time.
はい。というわけで、浅井さんにお願いしたいことがあるんです。
What now?
いくら廃墟でも勝手に侵入するのはまずいですよね。
Ah, right. I nearly forgot. Someone owns it, even if it's condemned. It's against the law to enter without permission.
今から当たってみたい廃墟をリストアップしてみました。ですので、浅井さんのお力で管理者に連絡を取ってみてもらえませんか？無理ですかね。
Well, we won't know until we ask. How can we ask these people in a way that will guarantee their consent? A 5-year-old might be trapped in there. That'd be just peachy, but there's no way we can say that. Alright, just wait a moment. I need to ask an acquaintance of mine in real estate about something. I took the list Usami had arranged back into my study. The inner workings of the real estate business are quite something. When I said I was with the Azai Corporation and asked the real estate agent about the buildings, he called his co-worker in and identified the owners almost immediately. Well, I dealt with 5 locations to start with.
結果はどうでしたか？
No worries, they all agreed to let us in.
本当ですか？それはよかった。
I wonder how that conversation went, or those conversations. Okay. The truth was, we didn't get permission at all. All 5 of them belonged to a local financial institution. Getting permission was out of the question. Fuck, okay, so they didn't go at all. Okay.
浅井さん、大丈夫なんですよね。
Yeah, they said it's not a problem, seeing as how I'm my father's son.
そうですか。自分はそういうの疎いんで助かりました。
We're in search of a 5-year-old for the greater good here. Oh yeah, sure, you're all about the greater good. I do feel a little bad about it, but what Usami doesn't know won't hurt her.
じゃあ、行ってきます。
What? We're starting now?
善は急げと。
Wait, let's pack some things first. As I got deeper into the research, I started to see how unsafe these condemned sites are.
軍手に防塵マスク、それから底の厚いブーツですかね。
And flashlights. It's pretty dark in these places even at noon.
大体持ってます。以前工事現場でアルバイトしていたことがありまして、その時に一式揃えたんです。
Oh, interesting. Resourceful girl. She really does all kinds of jobs.
それじゃあ、資料とかをお借りしていきます。浅井さんは来られないんですよね。
Ah, sorry. There's something I need to do today. Isn't she afraid going alone? The photos of ruined buildings, every last one of them looked frightening. There might not be ghosts, but there could be vagrants or packs of wild dogs. I'll find some time and do some more thorough research on the condemned sites in the city. I'll ask my dad about it too.
ありがとうございます。
Usami waved and headed for the door. Ah, wait a moment. Usami turned and moved her head to the side in uncertainty. I have a question. You insist the kidnapper is Mao, right?
それが何か？
What do you think Mao's motive is for kidnapping Tsubaki's brother?
動機ですか？
You know that the goal of the kidnapper wasn't money, right?
今一つ魔王の心境が理解できない部分が多いんですがね、浅井さん。
Usami nodded again and
あ
said,
る仮説を立ててみました。
Oh, interesting. Hypothesis?
魔王の真の目的は私を陥れることなのではないかと。
Huh? I frowned.
もしくは魔王にとって私がどの程度の脅威になりうるかを試してきたんです。
Mm-hmm. Aren't you being a little too self-centered? That sounds bonkers.
自分でも変態なことを言っているのは分かっ。
I joked. What, are you trying to say that you and Mao are arch nemesis?
いやいや、魔王にとって自分なんかミジンコみたいなもんですよ。
Plankton, okay. That's a choice of words, okay.
いや、ミジンコは言い過ぎか。ゴキブリみたいなもんか。
Okay.
あ、でもゴキブリは可愛くないから嫌だな。
Oh no. What the hell is her problem? Well then, why would a vicious kidnapper like Mao want to go after Plankton like you?
それは。
She swallowed her words as they were about to come out. Come on, it's okay to tell me, isn't it?
ちょっとお話できませんね。
I clicked my tongue. You're just full of secrets, aren't you?
すみません。
Usami still looked rather calm. Somehow this felt ridiculous. Gonzo ordered me to search for Mao, but the key, Usami won't tell me anything.
私が隠し事の多い女だということですが。
Angry? I'm just telling it like it is, you know?
浅井さんにもお話ししたくないことの一つや二つあるんじゃないでしょうか。
What are you talking about?
浅井さん、こんなことを言うと喧嘩になってしまいそうで怖いんですがね。浅井さんのお人柄はどうにもつかめません。
I'm mysterious.
あなたは学園ではひょうきんで明るくて友達思いです。今日椿にタクシーを手配してあげたりもしましたね。けれど身代金を引き渡す当日には用事があると言って姿を消しました。今日もそうです。協力してくれると言ったのに肝心の廃墟の探索には同行してくれません。
I could feel my anger building up. As I said, I'm busy. I have my reasons. I can't do anything about it, okay?
はい。ですから私にだって事情があるんです。魔王との関係を話したくない事情。
She smuggled through it with those pretty words. Perhaps you still suspect that I'm Mao? I meant to say it out of spite. Usami silently shook her head.
どうも失礼しました。帰ります。
Sure. She left the room timidly, hunched over. Maybe I shouldn't get involved any deeper with Usami. I reclined on the sofa, alone. Could Mao be targeting Usami? Whatever the case, it's got nothing to do with me. It seems like it will be hard to get any information about Mao out of her. But Gonzo's really going to come down on me if I don't make some progress toward finding Mao. Damn it. And it looks like Mao doesn't plan to let Tsubaki's brother go either. If he doesn't, the shit's going to hit the fan real fast. Even the most mild-mannered family would call the police. Once the police get involved, the fact that I took part in the loans would be exposed, and the Soa Alliance would probably be investigated thoroughly. God only knows what Gonzo would do to me if that happened. I came to a conclusion. I need to continue to watch Tsubaki's family. It's difficult for me to get involved in their family decisions as an outsider, but I have to try. A headache sprang out of nowhere as I continued to think. It's been happening quite frequently recently. I need to finish work as soon as possible.
浅井くん
Okay. I paid a visit to Tsubaki's house after finishing work. Sorry for coming over so late. I was in the neighborhood, so I came to check up on you guys. Tsubaki's eyes widened as she looked at me in surprise. Are you going somewhere?
もう帰ってきたんだけどね。
Tsubaki mumbled as she gripped her coat's hem. So, is your mother doing okay?
明日まで入院するんだけどね。
Was it stress?
みたいだね。お母さんも参っちゃったみたいで。
How about you, Tsubaki? Are you feeling okay? It might be the dim light, but Tsubaki's face looked in desperate need of rest.
私は全然平気だよ。
You're amazing, Tsubaki. I really felt that from the bottom of my heart. Her brother had been kidnapped, the ransom had been taken, and the hostage had still yet to return. The fact that she could still smile was really something. You're a strong person. Tsubaki shook her head, insisting that it wasn't true.
お家寄ってく？
Sure. The house was lifeless. All the kids had probably gone to sleep. There was only her dad in the living room, laying his head on the table in misery.
ああ、浅井くんじゃないか。いらっしゃい。
Oh boy. He let loose a greeting with worn eyes.
浅井くん、私、ちょっと弟たちを寝かしつけてくるね。
Sorry for the late hours, sir. In stark contrast to Tsubaki's, his eyes looked weak.
すまないね。こんな格好で。
His face was gaunt. You look really tired. Although that would be quite natural under these circumstances. Maybe Tsubaki was the abnormal one.
浅井くん椿は
Huh? She just went to the room there, didn't she?
ああ、そうか。そうだったね。
Poor guy. I feel for him. He's probably been depressed the whole time. An awkward silence filled the air. The child is kidnapped. They basically lost their land and their house. His wife is in the hospital out of stress. Like, I feel him. I feel him.
浅井くん、椿をよろしく頼むね。
Huh? Okay, now this is starting to sound even more alarming. Oh gosh.
あれはとても優しい娘なんだ。
Yeah, I
今
know.
もね、無理に明るく振る舞ってるんだ。内心では辛いくせにね。
Yeah, I can imagine. Tsubaki's dad sighed.
ちょっといい子に育ちすぎてしまったかな。椿は人を疑うということを知らないんだ。
He almost seemed to be talking to himself.
僕も母さんも世間知らずの田舎者だから、騙すより騙されるような人間になれと教えてきてしまったんだよ。
No, Tsubaki is just a truly kind person. Unbelievably kind. By the way, did the kidnapper ever call you back? I changed the topic as Tsubaki returned from the other room.
浅井くん、何のお話してたの？
The kidnapper.
連絡はまだないよ。
I see. Has Hiroaki already been killed?
大丈夫。ひろあきはちゃんと帰ってくるよ。
I don't know. The more time passes, the more I doubt that as well. Her bright voice didn't quite fit into the atmosphere. It was as if she was somehow sure of it.
そろそろ警察を頼ろうかと思うんだ。
え？
父さんが間違っていたんだ。最初から警察を頼っておけば。
It doesn't come as a shock that his train of thought would eventually reach that conclusion.
お父さん、ちょっと待って。
Tsubaki stopped her father from picking up the phone.
もうちょっとだけ待ってみようよ。
椿、すまなかった。でも、もう待てない。
Crap.
待ってよ。犯人は身代金さえ受け取ればひろあきを返すって言ってたんだよ。
Well, he got it, and he hasn't done anything, so...
それは口実だよ。現に犯人から何の連絡もないじゃないか。
でも今さら。
すまん。父さんはもうじっとしていられないんだ。
I mean, he's at his wit's end, I totally understand. He stood up in a rush. Looks like he's finally at the end of his rope. Please don't become too impulsive. Tsubaki's father turned red and glared at me. I've kept silent about this up until now, but the truth is I asked my father to help search for the kidnapper the day after the ransom was taken. Tsubaki held her breath.
どういうこと？
We're currently searching for Hiroaki through a police acquaintance of my father's. What? Oh god, what a lie. All lies. The possibility of the kidnapper hiding in a remote condemned site is very high. Investigation is currently in progress. Yeah, by Detective Bin Laden, yes. Lies, but I decided to mix in some facts for good measure.
つまり警察の方はもう動いているということかい？
Yeah, but not in an official investigation.
それは本当なんだろうね。にわかには信じがたいよ。
It's true, some old colleagues of my dad and a few private detectives are working on it as we speak. Tsubaki's dad felt silent. Right now, patiently waiting for an outcome would be a better solution than irritating the kidnapper by calling the police.
しかしね。
I'll bring Hiroaki back, I swear. I said this firmly.
お父さん、浅井くんに任せてみようよ。
Tsubaki spoke to her father as well, but his grim face didn't seem to relax at all. Seems like his judgment's lagging under extreme fatigue. Finally, Tsubaki's dad silently dropped his head.
少し休ませてもらう。
Apparently he believed my bullshit. Maybe he didn't have the strength remaining to call the police in the first place. Anyway, I managed to jump this hurdle. But a lie is still a lie. It will only help by some time. If Hiroaki is still alive, we have to find him as soon as possible.
ごめんね。お父さん、疲れてるみたいで。
I can't blame him. I took a look at my watch, and it was already after 12. Well, it's time for me to head home.
もう？
I didn't have anything in mind when I stopped by. I hinted to Tsubaki. Call me if you're planning to call the police, okay? Tsubaki's complete trust in me brought a swift reply.
お父さんが謝ったことしようとしたら、今日みたいに止めてもらえるかな。
Yeah, he's a little on edge right now.
それと、ありがとうね。実は犯人を探してくれてたんだね。
No problem. I avoided her eyes and put on my coat. Well, good night. She smiled. You can do it, Tsubaki. Tsubaki's smile didn't seem quite satisfied as I turned to leave. Sure enough, the voice from behind me spoke up again.
待って、浅井くん。
Hmm?
もう遅いし、泊まっていく？
Wait, what? What are we saying? What's happening? You're the last girl I would expect to hear that from. I teased her with the same cheerful voice I always use at school. But Tsubaki didn't understand that it was a joke.
ごめんね。本当言うと、ちょっと心細くて。
Ah, as her father had said, Tsubaki pretends to be cheerful but is actually quite uneasy on the inside. Finally, I've been waiting to see the human side of you.
あ、どういう意味？
So cocky. Oh, nothing. It would be too much to expect anyone to remain completely normal in the face of this situation. I'll pass on spending the night. We have school tomorrow. I patted Tsubaki's shoulder lightly.
ごめんね、無理言って。浅井くんにしかこんなこと相談できなくて。
She looked at me like a pitiful little puppy. Her round eyes seemed to glow in the night sky. Call me if something happens.
うん、
She looked at me, her eyes filled with loneliness.
私も携帯電話持とうかな。
Is that so? It's very convenient, you know?
だよね。いつでも連絡できるし。
Let's go buy one together when all this ends.
買ったら私も一番に浅井くんの番号を登録するね。
Yeah, alright. These girls going around treating the first phone call as if it's like a first kiss or something. It's cute, it's cute. I thought that Tsubaki looked a touch anxious for a second, but it's probably not a big deal. Well, see ya. I left Tsubaki's house. I looked back when I made a turn, and Tsubaki waved at me. To tell the truth, I found it pretty adorable that she watched me walk away.
おいおい、なんだよ。今日は休みが多いな。
The absences stood out. Was there a cold going around?
椿は
Who knows, maybe she's late?
またなんかあったのか
Maybe.
マジか。すっかいい加減警察にポイしちゃった方がいいんじゃねえの
You don't know the whole story.
事情ってなんだよ。俺だけはぶられてんのかよ。
おはようございます。
Usami slowly appeared.
ちょっと宇佐美さん、聞いてよ。
はい、
椿どうなったの？あれから進展ナッシング？
ナッシングです。残念なことに。
So you ran around yesterday for nothing. Usami didn't answer my question but only lowered her head a bit.
昨日はどうも不快なことを言ったようですみませんでした。
Sure. I wanted to inquire about Usami and Mao's relationship yesterday, but she managed to dodge the subject.
どうしたの？二人とも何分かち合ってるの？
いえ、訳ありな事情がありまして。
また事情？もういい加減にしてよ。
Eiichi was probably annoyed. He left us and started chatting with the group of girls.
なんか悪いこと言いましたかね。
Don't worry about it. Usami's eyes and mine met. So how did it go?
収穫はゼロです。初日だし、勢いで3軒くらい回ってみようとしましたが。
Yeah.
暗いわ寒いわ怪物は出るわで、気がついたら朝日を拝んでいました。
What were you
ガ
doing?
ラスとか散乱してますし、いきなり床に大穴が開いてたり、ネズミが運動会してたりと、息をつく暇もなかったですね。
The rats were holding a sports tournament. Aww. You look worn out.
いえいえ、これからです。
Taking a second look, I noticed there was a bruise on Usami's leg.
まあ、なんとかなると思いますよ。
Usami remained optimistic about the whole thing. Sorry, but I'll be unable to accompany you for the next 2 days. With regards to the property issue, a final negotiation has yet to be made with the Sano Corporation.
いいですよ。では、今日か明日にはひろあきくんを見つけ出すとしましょう。
Where did this courage come from? Why so confident?
今のところ、雲をつかむような手応えを感じてます。
Oh, what does that mean? Meaning you can't grasp it at all?
ですね。もう少しヒントがあればなぁとか思いますね。
How about looking over the photo in the the culprit sent back one more time?
それもそうですね。
The bell rang as we spoke and class started. Usami inspected the photo thoroughly during the entire lesson. Lunchtime. The cold air on the rooftop was more chilling than ever. Tsubaki arrived around this time. Oh, what happened today?
病院に寄ってたんだよ。
To take care of her mother, I guess.
あれ、みんなは？
Kanon's sleeping. Eiichi, I don't
はる
know.
ちゃんは？
The classroom, maybe? She's been staring at that photo all day.
そっか。二人っきりだね。
She looked happy. Anything come up lately? That unnatural feeling from a few days back arose in my mind once more.
何かって、それは浅井くんも知っての通りだよ。
Right, but I wasn't referring to the
ご
kidnapping.
めんね。昨日も心配かけたみたいで。変かな、私。
I couldn't really tell you.
昨日も心細くてね。
A shadowed expression crept to her face. She's unstable. In any case, it wouldn't be wise to conjecture Tsubaki's feelings based on her bright attitude. Wouldn't you like to go shopping today?
いいの？
If you keep it to around 30 minutes, okay. What does that mean? Why the time limit? There's still time before the negotiation. I'll just hang out with her for... Ah, okay, got it. Okay. I'll just hang out with her for a while.
やっぱりやめておくよ。
You're not in the mood? She forced a smile and then let out a sigh of exhaustion.
ごめんね。せっかく誘ってもらったのに。 私、浅井くんと。
She tensed up as if she were preparing to say something, but then...
浅井さん
Oh no. Usami jogged over to
浅
me.
井さん、ちょっとこの写真見てもらっていいですかね。
What? How rude.
はるちゃん、おはよ
おう、
Oh. Her greeting felt like an afterthought, as if she had almost forgotten in her frenzy.
ひろあきくんの顔がアップで映ってるじゃないですか。
Yeah?
すぐそばに倒れた書棚があるじゃないですか。
Yeah?
今日の私の髪型どうですか？
What? Irrelevant.
すみません。書棚の下に白い書類のようなものが見えますよね。
I squinted at the photo. Just as Usami had said, there was something that looked like a document under the
これ
shelf.
なんて書いてありますかね。
You mean on the paper? I put the picture so close to my eyes that the surface was practically kissing my nose. I can't make it out. It's either terrible handwriting or it's smudged. It doesn't look like something that was written for other people to read. Maybe it's a sheet from a diary or something?
日記といえば、椿はどうだ？
と、
The three of us squeezed together.
あんまり見たくないな。ごめんね。
そうか、悪かった。
There's no way she would want to see a picture of her imprisoned brother. What do you think, Usami?
わかりません。内容は、
The content?
はい。これはアルファベットだとは思います。
Roman letters? She was right, it really did look like something written in English.
ここが A で、この辺が J ですね。
It does look that way. Good eye there.
ここ、ちょっと目がっつり開いて見てもらえませんか？
Is that RP?
何なんすかね、この RP って。
It's written right there at the beginning, a capital R and a lowercase p.
ダイイングメッセージですかね。
What? And who do you think would have died there, genius?
まあ、この発見がどれほど意味があるかというと、微妙なところなんですがね。
Well, that's just great. She's right, it doesn't really seem to be that big of a deal. All we know is that the ruined building where Hiroaki is imprisoned holds English books. We could hardly call it a big step.
もう少し頭をひねってみますわ。
ねえ、はるちゃんは何してるの？
Usami answered with confusion.
もちろん、ひろあきくんを探してるんだわ。
やっぱり。
Usami frowned.
何かいけなかったか？
Tsubaki's lips were quivering.
無理しないでね。気持ちは嬉しいんだけど、なんていうか、はるちゃんは別に探偵さんでも警察の人でもなんでもないわけじゃない。
Usami looked confused after hearing this, and Tsubaki joined her in an awkward silence.
手を引いてくれと言っているのか？
Tsubaki lowered her head
だ
slightly.
ってはるちゃんはどうして犯人を捕まえようとしているの？
犯人を捕まえなければ、今後第2第3の誘拐事件が起こるかもしれないぞ。
そういう正義感みたいなもので。
大口叩いておいて、私は身代金を奪われてしまった。責任も感じている。
責任ってそんな、もういいよ。
どうしたんだ椿。私はただ犯人の手からひろあきくんを取り戻したいんだが。
Tsubaki's face changed dramatically at this point. She let loose her suppressed emotion that had been accumulating over time.
はるちゃんは自分のせいでひろあきが誘拐されたと思ってるんじゃないの？
No, it's not. Fuck that. At some point, her nervous, wandering eyes had begun to stare straight into Usami.
犯人の動機のことを言っているのか？
だってお金が目的ならどうしてひろあきなのかな？どうしてうちみたいに普通の家を狙ったのかな？
I didn't expect this from Tsubaki. Not only did seeing her blame another surprise me, but to find that she had a genuine interest in the criminal's motives.
椿の言う通りだよ。魔王がわざわざ誘拐事件を起こしたのは、私を何らかの形で陥れるためだと思う。
じゃあ、私たちはとばっちりを受けたっていうの？
Tsubaki cried out hysterically. The warm atmosphere of a crowded school in the middle of the day froze in an instant.
ごめん。
Tsubaki's shoulders trembled and she unsteadily covered her mouth.
なんでかな。ごめん。こんなこと言うつもりじゃなかったのに。
Tsubaki's family was suffering from this hardship because of Usami. It somehow brought to my mind the image of a detective in a novel who found murder cases wherever he went. It's not that I don't understand Tsubaki's feelings, but the person she's taking her rage out on should be the kidnapper, not Usami.
私のせいで、ひろあきくんが誘拐されて、私のせいで家庭が不幸になっている。だから、もうこれ以上関わらないでほしいというわけだな。
Usami said this in a surprisingly calm tone. Tsubaki averted her eyes under the pressure.
どうしてそんなきつい言い方するのかな。
I mean, that's what you said. It's just rephrased.
きついかな。
はるちゃんがよくわからないよ。
Tsubaki spoke with her head down and her eyes up, as if to judge Usami's reaction.
ごめん、迷惑かけて。自分、教室に戻ります。
With a face which clearly stated there was nothing more to say, Usami walked away. Hey, I called out to the trembling Tsubaki. Have you eaten lunch yet? Let's go eat together if you haven't. Tsubaki remained silent long after my invitation had dissolved into the wind. Ah, goodness me. During the lessons, I kept an eye on Tsubaki from the seat behind her. Her mind seemed to have been wandering off as she answered the teacher's questions haphazardly. Just a sec. Oh, there we go. Eiichi whispered to me during English class.
やべえよ。マジ今日は風邪でみんな休んでるからすぐ指名されるよ。
Oh, you poor thing. The coming winter brought flu season with it, it seems.
なんでこの世に英語とかあるんだろうな。っていうかなんで言葉の違いがあるんだろうな。愛に国境はないのによ。
You sound like a poet today, Eiichi.
ああ、俺決めた。世界の共通語を日本語にする。将来そういう職場で働くわ。
Look, Bear, maybe this is something that you can bond over with Eiichi. The one thing. Sounds great. Still, to do that, you'll have to study
なん
English.
つうの？英語とかイタ語とかドイツ語とかはとりあえず滅ぼすわけだよ。
Must be destroyed. Do you really have to destroy them?
だってさ、大文字の O と数字の0がマジ見分けつかないじゃん。不便だってこれ共通語として。
It would hurt a lot of people if you destroyed their
い
languages.
や、真のアルファベットは俺が完成させる。
Usami from the seat in front of us creaked her head in our direction.
今、なんて。
は？
栄一さん。
The alphabet.
ええ。
アルファベットは俺が完成させる。
もっと前です。
大文字の O と数字の0が見分けつかない。
もうちょい前です。
セックスは面倒だけど股間は愛しい。
What the fuck? What?
ほらほら、そんなこと言ってねえだろうが。
なんだっけ。
He said he'd destroy languages like English, Italian, and German.
それです。
She nodded silently.
一緒に滅ぼす？
Wait, what?
いや、栄一さん、助かりました。
Like a language school or something?
浅井さん、雲をつかむような手応えが、綿菓子くらいになりましたよ。
What does that? Just when I was about to ask, the teacher glared at me. We might have been a bit too noisy for class time. Usami averted her eyes and became silent. The lesson proceeded without a second thought. Okay. I guess she caught on to something. But I'm kind of feeling like I'm at my limit for tonight. I know it's a bit shorter than usual, but would it be alright to leave it here and pick it up next time? She seems to be on a roll about something. I don't want to stop right in the middle of it, so maybe we jump into it next time. Is that alright? Sorry. Ugh. Still not used to how the menu here works. Yeah, okay, let's leave it here for tonight. I'm sorry, I'm very, very tired, and I can feel my mind kind of slipping away a little bit. So yeah, if we're gonna like snowball this into something exciting, maybe it's best to just experience it all together. Yeah. Thank you for understanding, and thank you for your lovely presence as always. I'm having a lot of fun sharing this with you. Even though the things that are happening are not necessarily that pleasant. But I'm hooked, it's entertaining. I'm happy that we're reading this, so we will just keep going as per usual. Tuesdays and Thursdays. And in the meantime, we can stream some Honkai as well. I was thinking we can do 2 sessions on Saturday, you know, broken up with a small break in between so that I can recover. And then maybe 1 on Monday, since you said that the patch is like a all around 7-hour-ish. Bear, from what other people have played. So maybe we can do it that way. Yeah. Maternity streams, yes. Yeah, so we will fit Honkai in between now and the next time, so we don't disrupt the usual schedule for the novel. Yeah. So yeah, let's do it that way. I will be much more rested and with the camera on next time. I promise. It's just, yeah, today happened to be like this. Yeah, and there it is. I'm yawning. I'm yawning all over the place, so I will go rest. Thanks again for your lovely, lovely presence. See you in the Honkai streams if you are so inclined to join. And if not, on Tuesday again with more of this. Take care. Night night.